Oh yes, give me all that foam. This foam is just titillating me. Yeah. What's up guys? Welcome back to Will's Record channel. Today, I want to talk about 5 detailing habits that are not necessarily helpful for me in my goals and detailing that I have overcome over time. Whether it's from learning from other more experienced detailers or just from doing my own testing. And my own goals in detailing is to detail the car and get the best results as possible in the shortest amount of time. So that balance to strike it is actually not very easy, and do so safely and also in an enjoyable way. So with that goal, let's get into the 5 habits that I have overcome. Detailers, wear gloves. In the beginning, when I first started, I didn't want to wear gloves because I sweat when I wear gloves and it feels really gross inside, and when water gets in, it gets even worse. So I didn't think it was necessary. And also, I wasn't detailing all the time like a professional would. So why would I wear gloves? But the thing is, detailing chemicals are designed for car paint. They're not designed for your hands. So whenever you use all these chemicals and they come into contact with your hands, your skin will actually absorb some of that chemicals into your body. And honestly, we probably don't even know how these chemicals, when they get absorbed into our skin, into our body, how it will affect us, not to mention long term. And not to mention the even stronger chemicals like these ceramic coatings that are even more concentrated and contain even more chemicals that can potentially harm us. And even something as readily available as hair shampoo or body wash that we put on ourselves every single day. Even those contain chemicals like parabens and sulfates that are known to be hormone disrupting, which contributes to the already staggering fertility rates that people have now. And Gen Z men already has the lowest testosterone compared to other generations of the same age. So knowing all of that, I started wearing gloves. I think it's a non-negotiable to wear gloves when you're detailing, when you're touching any chemicals. Now let's talk about gloves. Oh, this sucks ass for detailing. I got it from Amazon for cheap, 100 of these. It was probably around $8, and I learned my lesson. You don't want to cheap out on these. Now this one, a commenter recommended to me. You can get it very easily and cheap from Autoality with free shipping. I believe for 100 of these, it was around $11 to $12, and if you catch it on the sale, even better. Now this one, I couldn't resist it because it's this blue color, kind of similar to my channel color, so I got it. And these are also great. I got it from Costco on sale, and it was 150 of these for around the same price as this box. So if you can't get this one, definitely get this one, this nice black one. Very neutral. And thanks again for whoever commented to tell me to get these. These are awesome. So if you take anything away from this, definitely wear gloves. Especially if you do this often, just invest a little and protect yourself, because your health is definitely something that's worth investing in. So the second habit that I stopped, as you can see on the table here, is over cleaning wheels. They're absolutely useful in what they do, and with all these tools, you can definitely get a wheel as clean as the plate you're eating on. But the thing is, it will take time. So in the beginning, I watched a lot of these videos of detailers cleaning these super messed up wheels and getting them spotless. And my thought was just that, I want to do that too. That looks so fun. But the thing is, once you start taking care of your car, your wheels don't get nearly as dirty as some of those really messed up wheels do. So the question becomes, do you still attack that wheel as if it's super dirty, it's super messed up? And honestly, my answer is no. Which is the reason why I made this recent video on how I do my wheel cleaning and how I tackle it with 3 different levels of cleaning. So depending on how your wheels are, how dirty they are, you kind of choose the different levels of cleaning. So you don't go for a full detail every time you see those wheels and spend about 5 minutes each wheel. Because after a while of doing that, I just found it very inefficient, and it kind of just feels like I'm doing it to do it. So it just felt like I was wasting time and bending my back a little too much. So from that, I made some changes to my detailing tools. So wheel well brush like this, I rarely use it, and I'll only use it if I see actual dirt that's stuck on the wheel well, so that's gone. And this scratches gloss black wheels pretty obnoxiously, so that's gone too. This as well. Now I'm left with these. The barrel blade, which is meant for your wheel barrels, I started using it sparingly and not every time. So maybe once a month I'll use on my barrels. It just really depends on how dirty it is. And since my car is a hybrid car, it doesn't use the brake as often as regular gas cars, so I don't get a lot of brake dust, which is why I use this even more so sparingly now. A little detail brush like this on your wheels, again, I use it very sparingly unless I cannot get it with a little wash mitt like this. So this is the auto fiber wheel paw. I try to use these Yoda fingers here to get into all the nooks and crannies that I can and use these fibers to my advantage. So that way, I don't have to follow up with a detail brush like that after, which saves me time. And for tires, I also stopped the habit of trying to scrub them until the suds literally come out white. I just found that to not be a good use of time. And also, scrubbing it like that with harsh chemicals, you're only stripping away the antioxidants that's in the tires that's trying to protect the rubber. So I stopped doing that. Instead, I put these brushes away and rarely use them. Most of the time when I'm maintaining my car, I just use a microfiber that's dampened and rinseless. So just using this will be enough, especially if I'm gonna put on a next coat of tire dressing. So there's not really a need to reset the tire completely with really harsh chemicals and scrub it with the strongest bristles. So in that aspect, it really has saved me a lot of time. However, if this is what you enjoy, spending time detailing your wheels and get it completely dialed, don't listen to me. Just keep doing what you do because it can be very therapeutic, and as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Just make sure you wear gloves. So the third habit is about how I used to use my iron removers. So when I first started out, when it comes to decontamination, the first thing people always go to is this. So these are all different iron removers, and people say to take these iron removers, spray it on a vehicle, let it dwell. The iron remover, while dwelling, will dissolve all the iron particles that's embedded in your paint and also the industrial fallouts that's stuck on your paint, making it gritty. So I tried that, and honestly, the result was not the same as what those people claim. What they really are is actually a rust remover. So instead of dissolving the iron contaminants, it's actually dissolving the rust around the iron, making the iron a little easier to come out because it's not held in by the rust around it anymore. So how I really believed in was seeing it in front of my eyes. Here are some photos of me using these iron removers just around the home, seeing that rust spots in my sink and spraying that iron remover. It dissolved the rust stain from me leaving my cast iron pan in my sink. So what was in the sink wasn't the cast iron pan, it was the rust that was left over from the cast iron pan. And the iron remover dissolved it perfectly. So iron remover doesn't really remove the contamination. So what I learned what actually removes the contamination is a clay towel like this, or an actual clay bar. The clay material paired with a good lubricant will actually pull out the contaminants that's inside your paint, that's stuck on your paint. But even better, pairing a clay towel with an iron remover that's compatible with it, that has enough lubrication, you get to finish 2 steps with just one single swoop. You remove all the rust stains and you also remove all the contamination. And the iron remover actually makes some of the iron contaminants easier to remove by the clay towel. So they're honestly a match in heaven. Now, if you don't believe this and you think this is going to scratch the heck out of your paint, watch this test I did. So I got my hood sitting out here for weeks now, and as you can see, it has collected a ton of dust, dirt, and hopefully contamination. After sitting out here getting rained on and beamed on with super strong southern sunlight. So we're just gonna give it a quick rinseless wash. Got ADS Hero in here. So on the ceramic coated side, it's actually smoother here. But here, on the uncoated part, I can feel some grit on here. And to confirm it, I'm gonna grab a card and just slowly run across the surface. I'm gonna try to look for that sound. Let me see if I can catch the sound. So let's spray on iron remover and let it dwell and see if it removes that contamination. I won't be cheap about it too. I'll give it a very good douse. right, so that's dry enough. Let's rinse this off. All right, let's dry it off and let's see if all that grit has gone away. You hear that? On a perfectly smooth part of the paint. So now let's try an iron remover with the clay towel and see which one is really doing the work to remove contamination like this. All that gritty surface and making the paint absolutely smooth. So here I got the clay towel and the iron remover. I'm just gonna start gliding. Oh, right here. You can feel that. You're just gonna glide until you don't hear the sizzling sound anymore. And by the way, this is a Mr. Twister towel from the House of Rags. It actually makes it a really good drying towel. This is what I mainly use it for, especially wheels and tight areas like grills. So now with the car test, I'm gonna have the mic right here. I'm not hearing it. Definitely a lot smoother. And let's see if I cause any scratches going left and right. So right here, there's a vertical scratch. You can see that. But I don't see any going left and right. Uncoated side. Again, I see that vertical one, but I don't see any going left and right, which is the direction of how I clayed. So these two iron removers are what I know as of June of 2025 that are compatible with a clay towel and that can be used that way. And secretly, I also found this turtle wax one also worked pretty well with it, but they did not design this to be used that way. But honestly, use either one of these two, I do not care. They both work great with the clay towel. I just don't want you to think that iron removers will remove all the contamination and spraying it on letting it dwell and remove all the grit. You will still need to clay or clay bar it. But if you can clay and do the iron decon at the same time, then I think that would be perfect. So the fourth habit is about how I do my interiors. So one of the most enjoying things to watch about detailing is how people clean their interiors and how they use a bunch of foam and suds up the whole door panel and just use a nice soft brush and just slowly going through the areas little by little. It's really satisfying. So of course, starting out, I want to replicate that, which is why I got these brushes. And I thought that was what the professionals do and how they get the best clean. You just brush over everything, spreading the foam and letting the bristles massage the surface. And these little bristles can get into all the nooks and crannies, so there's nothing left behind that you cannot clean. But after doing that in a few cars, it takes a lot of time. And there are actually more effective ways and more efficient ways to do the same thing. So I set my brushes aside and I started using just microfiber and a scrub pad. Now, a microfiber, obviously I'm not gonna use it dry. I have it dampened in rinseless wash and wring it out really good. It actually becomes a very formidable cleaner, especially for cars that are not exactly disaster details. Now the scrub pad becomes perfect for something that needs a little more agitation, some stain that you might have left over, some interiors that are more neglected. And a lot of times in interior, you can really go to town with this thing and not worry about scratching the surface, because most of the time the flat surface is either leather or plastic. And for microfibers like this, you can actually get into nooks and crannies pretty well. You can just use a single layer of microfiber and put it around your single finger and just get into the crevices that you need to get to. And the strands and fibers on the cloth will actually pick up a lot of dust and debris within seams even. But of course, sometimes you still have tight areas that you need a brush for. Now, I'm not against brushes, but I just don't like to rely on them and use them as the primary cleaning tool for a flat surface in the interior. So again, with these brushes, I use them very sparingly now, and for the majority of time in my cleaning interior, I'm either using the scrub pad from Autofiber or rinseless dampened microfiber cloth. And again, if you do enjoy using this and have the time for it, don't listen to me. Go ahead and enjoy it because I know how it feels. I actually love it too. But for the goal I have, it just doesn't work for me. So the last habit that I've overcome is hammering everything with chemicals, and especially one chemical, super clean. So this is a degreaser. This is a very strong degreaser. It works really well at removing oils and just breaking down organic matters. But the thing is, I use it on everything. Bug guts, I spray on super clean. Bird droppings, I do that as well. Now, that's not as bad if you do it very, very carefully and do it sparingly. But the thing is, the list goes on. With roll tar, super clean. Tree sap, super clean. Artillery fungus, super clean. And even sticker residue, super clean. Well, obviously, I didn't understand how chemicals really worked and what chemicals are designed for what. So the issue is, these are very strong chemicals, and when you spray it, you can actually smell how caustic it is, and it just kind of stings your nose. So if the condition isn't right, this can be dangerous on your paint. Now with a little more knowledge, those things that I mentioned can be removed with other chemicals that are designed for it. Like tree sap and roll tar, there's tar removers or tree sap remover. Now these two are very similar even though their names are different. They're more like that glugon kind of chemical that will remove adhesive, all that sticky residue. So for tree sap or tar, these chemicals will work well for it. And even for some very sticky, gluey kind of bug guts, these will work great as well. Now for rust stains, whether it's on your wheels or on your car body, the iron removers here, they will take care of it because as we discussed it earlier, these are actually rust removers. Or for general cleaning such as wheel and tires or your engine bay or just any light degreasing, I would just use a normal APC like this that is much safer on your paint. I choose DIY Detail because this can be diluted 1:15 and still work pretty well. But obviously there are other good, safe APCs. But I would stick with an APC as long as I can until I can't, because these are just safer on the paint, there's less risk, and this particular APC is actually more economical than this gallon of super clean because it can be diluted 15:1. But if I do have some degreasing needs, Dark Fury here is my go-to one. Now this smells just as nasty as super clean over there. They're actually quite similar, but I think Dark Fury is a little safer since it's designed to use on card paint. But of course I haven't tested it, so I will still avoid using it under direct sunlight or use it on hot surfaces or letting it dry out for too long. So there you guys go. Those are the 5 bad habits I've overcome and some of the lessons I've learned along the way. So comment down below, have you ever found yourself in a similar situation or thought the same or found any of these points relatable? Because these were big revelations to me when I first learned them and started changing my habits. I also want to know which one of these you agree with and which ones you don't. Because I know for the iron remover and clay towel one, I'm gonna get flamed for, but I don't care. It really works for me and for a lot of people too. And of course, the products and tools that I mentioned in this video will be linked in the description. So in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.